Guys, welcome to another video. I don't know if this video will come before or after the LED lights, but I'll let you know if it's been before or after. So as I was removing the bumper, the rear bumper, to fit the lights, I just realized that it was really dirty, and some spots there was a bit of surface rust. I know by fact that this car from factory, they don't have any coating, so to speak, to prevent rust under. And I know that when I was dealing with the front, when I was fitting my radiator, there was also a bit of rust in the front crash bar. All that has been sorted. I painted new and looks spot on. I was just not expecting to see these on the rear, so let me show the rust I found on the rear. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but quite a bit of rust the exhaust is, and mainly it's because of all the water that gets from the wheel arch to this area here. So when I saw this, I mean, it's not too bad, but I don't think this was here when I've installed the exhaust, so we need to take care of that. Then I thought, if this zone is like that, how is going to be the rear? So what I've done, I removed the rear of the crash bar, and as you can see, a bit of surface rust. It's not too bad, to be honest. I mean, look at this. This panel hasn't even been painted. I mean, I know they have a chemical protection to prevent rust, but in my opinion, this is not enough. You really want a deep coat to protect the rust, because otherwise, where you're gonna have some water spots, as you can see here, obviously it's gonna rust, and then it starts with a small thing, and then it's got falling off. So luckily enough, my car is mint in that aspect, but that's because I'm always on top on these things, and I'm a bit manic about rust. So if I see something poking, I treat it straight away. So we will try to sort this out, and I'll show you my methods to treat rust. Let me just show you how the crash bar is. So from this angle, you can see it's not too bad. A bit here and there, but on the edges, obviously, because it doesn't get as protected. But if you turn it around, then you start seeing a bit more, which is not ideal at all. So we're gonna take care of this, and so we're gonna just take care of this, and hopefully we'll sort this out. I mean, what was supposed to be a 1-hour job, which is installing the lights, is now a proper rust treatment, so to speak. And I prefer to do it now that the bumper is off and I got all the space to do it, than leave it to sort of later or ask someone to do it, and then it's going to be to a state that you can't do anything. I guess just to give you a quick update where we are with the rust treatment. So for this job I used 2 types of tool, conventional wire brush, 2 types. Found that this one actually works better than that one, but what really cuts the job is this disc here. Unfortunately it's on its waist, but I think it's a paint stripper disc. It's like a nylon disc, and it's not as abrasive as a normal metal disc, but taking consideration that's exactly what we want. As you can see, we made good progress, to be honest. So all the rust that was here is now completely gone. Obviously there's a few places where we couldn't get there, but I'm not too worried, because we'll get the rust treatment to sort that out. The main thing is obviously these bits here where there's more contact with the metal. We are sorting out. I'm gonna have to clean my my muffler at some point, but as you can see, it's much better. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see the rear here, but it's 10 times better. And I'll show you what we done with the crush bar. So the crush bar here was not too bad, but on the edges it was starting to get a bit crusty. So obviously this was the area was getting really rusty, so we removed pretty much everything. Bear in mind, I think the only thing that I'm pretty sure that the only coat on this is primer, so there's no treatment whatsoever. It's basically primer. I mean, there's some spots here, as you can see, where we couldn't get there, but I'm hoping that the rust treatment will do that. So that's what we're gonna do next. I'm gonna use Hemerite Rust. That's the name. So we're just gonna do this now, and in theory this should turn purple, they say. So let's get on with it. Right, so we just put the first coat. So now it's going to start the reaction. White basically is purple bluish is where the reaction is happening. So according to the instructions, you just leave it, and then you can use your zinc primer or something to seal it. So all we have to do now is literally leave it to do its own thing and come back when it's a bit drier, so we can put our first coat of primer. And again, same thing here, as you can see, still drying up, but we will see some reaction like this. Well, I thought it was actually quite clean. You can see the purplish. That means that there was still a bit of rust there. So, but yeah, so all we have to do now is literally wait and see, and I'll be back once we are ready to use the primer. Been 1 hour since we've done the rust treatment, so to speak. As you can see, there's a few marks there, but all's dried up, which is good. That means we can start painting. I've just masked a few stuff because I don't want to get paint in the wheels or the coilovers. But as you can see, it's all become a bit purplish. So we're just gonna give a bit of paint first with the anti-rust primer. There you go, and I'll see if I'm gonna use red paint or not. There we go, guys. So this is the first coat of primer. As you can see, there's some runs then, but again, this is gonna all be covered by the bumper, so I'm not too fussed. I mean, the main goal with this is basically prevent any rust or corrosion to happen. I'm debating if I should just leave it like that, because again, this is not going to be seen, but I might just paint it a little bit red, to be honest, because otherwise it's going to look a bit dull, although again, you won't be able to see it. So so I think I went a bit overboard it, as you can see. I couldn't just leave it as it was, so I just did a very light coat of red. It doesn't look too bad, to be honest. The paint that I've used is VHD red. It's like a matte red. This is actually the paint I've used for my calipers, not the Brembo one, but the previous one. But I thought, like, that's the only red I got, and to be honest, you won't be able to see this once the bumper is on it. I'm really pleased with this, to be honest. So yeah, overall, really pleased.
Several days later.
Hi guys, it's been a few days now, and so the paint had enough time to dry up. So this is very important when you're doing this process. Is you need to make sure that you're not doing this when it's humid or wet or raining, because you don't want to trap any moisture inside.
So it's been lovely weather in the last week in UK, so I've taken that as an advantage. I've used a heat gun with the process of curing the paint, so let me show you the results. As you can see, doesn't look too bad. Obviously, as I've mentioned before, there's a bit of discrepancy between the Milano red and this one, but it's not something that bothers me, to be honest, because this is all going to be covered by the panel, and the main goal is actually prevent rust to appear. As you can see, the crash bar is nice and tidy, and there's actually a nice blend here, so it's not too bad for an amateur, I would say. So the whole process went well, and what I've done today was basically did a final coat with wax oil. I've used I'm a right-hander still, wax oil. Right, so I've used this in the past, but the spray version, and I 100% recommend the sprayed version. With the brush, using this with the brush, it doesn't give you the same finishing as the spray one. So I've been using the spray one in the past when I've done the rear of the car, so underneath, but this one with the brush, it's not too bad, but it's not as even. So let me show you what I've done. So as you can see, it's still a bit wet. It's not the best job ever, but to be honest, it's prevention work. It's not supposed to be the best looking job ever. It's there to prevent salt and other kind of contaminants that can make a chemical reaction with your paint, interact with that. So overall, I'm happy, to be honest. Again, not perfect, but I've done it on my driveway without any ramps at all. I could use my ramps, but to be honest, I couldn't be bothered. So I think it's not a bad job in the end. To wrap this video up, I just would like to say that if you haven't checked your rear bumper or rear crash bar, I highly recommend to do so. It's really important to check because you want to catch the rust as soon as possible. Same applies to the front of the car, where you got your radiator mount and everything. When I was changing my radiator, I've done exactly the same process in the bottom mount and the crash bar in the front. And again, it's prevention work. If you want to keep this car for years to come, it's not a bad job to do, to be honest. Removing the bumper, 10 minutes. Then it's all about prepping, and take your time to do this. Don't rush, don't do it in the wet. And again, if you're looking for something more professional, then you need to contact a company that is specialized in doing this kind of jobs. I'm pretty sure Dyno Days offers under-seat work package for these cars. So if you feel that it's time to do it, and just give a quick check on the car, and yeah, I'll see you on the next time. Peace.